Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back. You are joining with the OPRC class day 59. So let's get started by paying respect to the book. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Today we are going to discuss the stanza about diligence, Appamada. It's not the last stanza. The stanza before the last stanza of the Appamada chapter. Appamada means diligence. This stanza and the next stanza look a little bit similar, but idea-wise, there are certain things that we can discuss. That's why I only took this one today. Perhaps by depending on the timing, when we do the class next time, we can do the last stanza, next stanza, and then do a kind of a review about the whole chapter, just to understand what we have been doing. All right, so we're going to be doing stanza, and today I think we have two newcomers joining for the first time. I hope they are here too. Yeah. Dhammapada, stanza number 31. Like this. Appamada ratu bhikkhu pamade bhaya dassiva sanyojanang anutulang daham aggiva gacchati. Appamada ratu bhikkhu pamade bhaya dassiva sanyojanang anutulang daham aggiva gacchati. There are a couple of things I think that may be new to you. So pay more attention to those letters, especially this letter. This is not daham, daham. All right, so I'll be asking the groups to read. First of all, group 1. Anybody from group 1? Yes. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Appamada rato bhikkhu pamade baya dasiva samyo janang anung tulang dahang ajiwa gacchati.
Dahang.
Dahang ajiwa gacchati.
There is no J. It has G.
Gacchati. Giva.
No G. G. Aggi. Gi.
Agi.
Dahang aggiva gacchati.
Dahang agiva gacchati.
Dahang aggiva gacchati. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Right. Then group 2. Someone from group 2. Yes. Kim, just go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Appamada rato bhikkhu pamade baya dasiva sanyojanang anung tulang dahang agiva gacchati.
Okay. Can you read this third line again, please?
Samyojana anu tulang.
Tulang,
Tulang.
not tulang. In Pali, this is what you say, tu. But this one is tu.
Tulang.
Sangyojanang,
Anu tulang.
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 Tulang. Okay. All right. Group 3. Yes, Billy, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Apamada rato biku. Pamade baya dasiva. Samyojanang anung tulang. Dahang ajiva gachati.
I can see the same mispronunciation.
Tulang. Tulang.
No. Tulang is okay. Can you go for the last line again?
Dahang ajiva gachati.
It's not J actually. It's not J. It's not J. It's G.
Ajiva.
Agiva.
Agiva.
Agiva gachati.
Agiva gachati. Thank you.
Okay. Then group 4. Yes, KPL, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Apamada rato biku. Pamade bayadasiwa. Samyojanang anu tulang. Dahang agiwa gachati.
Gachati. Right.
Thank you.
Okay. And group 5. Yes, Melinda, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante. Apamada rato biku. Pamade bayadasiwa. Samyojanam anum tulang. Dahan ajiwa gachati.
Last line again.
Dahan agiva gachati.
Agi means fire.
Fire, yeah.
Fire in Pali.
Thank you.
Gachati. Right?
Thank you, Bhante.
Then group 6. Yeah, group 6. All right, so 2 people raised hand. Who would like to go for it? Is it Margaret or Tisita?
Sorry, Bhante, I'm in group 7.
Yeah, you should be okay. Don't worry. Still, we are running with 6, group 6. Come to you later. So, I mean, who would like to read? Is it Tisita or Margaret? Anybody?
Go ahead.
Okay, so see. Okay, yes, Margaret. Yes, Margaret. Please go ahead. Okay. Good. Yes. Yes, Tisita, please go ahead. I think you are breaking up. Probably your connection is not good at this point.
Yeah. I read again. I think the signal.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Apamada rato biku. Pamade baya dasiwa. Samyojanam anum tunam. Daham agiwa gachati.
Okay, great. I will give chance to Margaret at the end. Now, group 7, Mia, please.
Okay. Bhante is Apamada rato biku. Pamade bayadasiwa. Samojanam anum tulam. Daham agiva gachati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Last group, group 8. Some from group 8. Yes, Champakla, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apamada rato biku. Pamade bayadasiva. Samyojanam anum tulang. Daham agiva gachati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Now we are giving the opportunity to others. We'll get started with Margaret. Yes. if you would like to read, please raise your virtual hand so I know that you are in line. We'll start with Margaret, please.
Apamada Rato Biku Pamada Baya Dasiva
Pamade.
Pamade Baya Dasiva Samyo Janam Anum Turam Daham Agiva Gachati.
Gachati. Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll start with Boy. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apamada Rato Biku Pamade Bayadasiwa Samyojanam Anum Tulang Dahang Agiwa Gachati.
Great.
Thank you,
And
Bhante.
we have Pochumwa.
Thank you, Bhante. Good evening, Bhante and Dhamma friends. Apamada Rato Biku Pamade Bayadasiwa Samyojanang Anum Tulang Dahang Agiva Gachati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
We have Serene. Serene, I think we cannot hear you. Yeah. Yes. I think we don't hear you, Serene. So is it okay if we continue and you fix your mic? Okay. Then Chu Peng, yes.
Good evening, Bhante. Apamada Rato Biku Pamade Bayadasiwa Samyo Janang Anum Tulang Dahang Agiwa Gachanti.
Okay, great. And
Thank
we
you,
have
Bhante.
Indra. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apamada Rato Bhikkhu Pamade Bayadasiwa Sangyo Janang Anung Tulang Dahang Agiwa Gachati.
Great. And we have Jenny.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apamada Rato Biku Pamade Bayadasiwa Sangyo Janang Anung Tulang Dahang Ajiwa Gachati.
Dahang Agil.
Dahang Ajiwa Gachati.
Would you mind repeating again the last one, last line?
Dahang Ajiwa Gachati.
Dahang Agiva Gachati. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, great. And then we have Lisa. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apamada Rato Biku Pamade Bahaya Dasiva Samyo Janam Adum Tulam Daham Agiva Gajanti.
Great. And we have Hema. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apamada Radu Biku Pamade Baya Dasiwa Samyo Janam Anum Tulam Daham Agiwa Kachati.
Great. And we have Oli. Yes.
Sukihotu, Bhante, and
Yes,
everyone.
Sukihotu. Yes.
Apamada Rato Biku Pamade Baya Dasiwa Samyo Janang Anung Tulang Dahang Agiwa Gachati.
Okay, great. And finally, Suzanne.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Excuse me. Apamada Rato Biku Pamade Bayadasiva Samyajonam Anum Tulam Daham Ajiva gachati.
Yeah, last line please. Dahang.
Daham ajiva gachati.
It has to be G. Agiva.
Agiva.
Agiva gachati.
Daham agiva gachati.
Gachati. All right. All right. Anybody else who would like to read? Just thinking about new ones. Probably. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. If not, we are going to look at the translation and then understand the larger, broader meaning of this stanza. Now, the first thing is that you see the Pali word bhikkhu here. So don't think that this is only for a bhikkhu at this point, because the story mentions about a monk who actually explained a certain incident when he was coming back after meditation. So that's why there is the monk over there. Actually, the fire is like a conflagration, but it was given as fire. He noticed a conflagration on the way back to Jetavanaram. We will study about that later. Okay. Appamada rato bhikkhu pamade bhayadasiva sanyojanang anuntulang dahang ageva gachati. We can see the first two lines. They are about what to do with appamada, what to do with pamada, diligence and negligence, and then the solution to the appamada comes in the third line. And the simile, how someone overcomes this, what you call these sangyojanas, is given in a simile of fire. So let's take a look at these Pali words. Appamada. Now we actually been discussing this Pali word a lot. What is appamada? Again, appamada means a quality wherein we are motivated, inspired not to delay the practice of the Dhamma. So because of appamada, we are not delaying our Dhamma journey. We are inspired. We are motivated. Sometimes we know we have to practice, but we are not inspired enough. We are not motivated enough. Whatever the conditions, maybe the people who are talking about these things, maybe the community, right? The Buddhist community sometimes, maybe they are not creating us a supportive system about Dhamma. It has become a very solo journey sometimes. And then external conditions like your work life and family life, regardless of whatever the things which have brought up conditions, if we really have appamada, that means that we are able to make time for us not to delay in our practice. What does delay here mean? I think we discussed that. It doesn't mean that you are going to hit Sotapatti tomorrow morning, Sakadagami enlightenment tomorrow morning, or Anagami next month, or Arahant at the end of this year. We can't do those kind of plans. But what we are doing is we are incessantly, we are continuously continuing our journey to overcome akusalas. So it's a journey that has to continue. Like this is what we understand from the advice from all the Buddhas. Sabba papa sakarana. We are supposed to overcome all the akusalas as much as we can, right? In whatever capacity, depending on how we are going through these akusalas. And kusalasya upasampada, to do everything to create kusala, every good thing. But don't try to make other people, into certain difficult situation just because you want to attain Nibbana, right? Thinking that I don't care about other people, I only think about my meditation, my dana, my sila, that's kind of sakkaya ditthi. So when we practice Dhamma, we cannot just become selfish just because I want to attain Nibbana, right? just because we want to achieve that in whatever the way. I remember a long time ago, I don't want to mention the place, not in Malaysia, somewhere else. I participated in a Bodhi Puja. The Bodhi Puja was, veneration of the Bodhi tree, was organized by the friends of a lady who just got an accident. She was severely wounded. Actually, the story is that she rented a car, and then suddenly when she stopped the car before an intersection, the traffic lights, suddenly the accelerator was pushed, whatever. She says, no, I did not do that. And then it crashed onto the bus hold nearby. And then she was severely wounded. She was in intensive care. And the Bodhi Puja was prepared to bless her. In the Bodhi Puja, there was somebody talking there. We see this selfish nature of understanding about what happened to somebody. Okay, this XYZ lady got into an accident. Now, what can we think about? We can see that the nature of anicca, right? This nature of anicca. See what happened to her bones, what happened to her whole body. She's in utter pain now. And then by looking at her broken limbs of the body, we can think about asubha meditation, and we can make our way to attain Nibbana. I was thinking, this is something really not going to talk about Buddhism. You are using that wounded lady to talk about your Nibbana. You can't do that. We all gathered here to, let's create good karma and then to think about speedy recovery. Because when some people are too much into Nibbana, they are picking up all bits and pieces. They want to connect every incident into their Nibbana. That's a misunderstanding. That's why Buddha says we have to practice Brahma Viharas all the time. Metta, Karuna, Mutta, otherwise we cannot think about Nibbana. Right? So, Appamada, I want to reiterate, Appamada means that we are always trying to do things within that Kusala context. In that journey, we shouldn't be selfish beings, even become selfish for our own enlightenment. So that story is a very good example. And we gathered there only to bless her. Our journey is our journey. We have to find out other conditions to do our journey. Not we have to use that wounded person to think about, right? So we should not look for spiritual advantages. Spiritual advantages to go for our own Nibbana. Rather, we create our conditions the proper way. So Appamada once again means that we are trying to keep us motivated, inspired, and continuously become motivated and inspired to engage in the practice. Our practice is not to do any unwholesome activity, mind, body, speech, and then to do all the kusala activities by mind, body, speech, and sachitta pariyodapana, to purify our thoughts. Sachitta pariyodapana, that means purification. Finally, it's purification. Etang buddhana sasana. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas, not even Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching, but also teaching of Kassapa Buddha, right? Tannankara, Medankara. Were there Buddhas before Tannankara Buddha? There were many Buddhas. Incalculable number of Buddhas, but we only take 28 for our easy reference, right? Anyways, so Appamada is that. Appamada, why we are involved in Appamada. And there's an interesting word coming up here, Rato. Rato. Rato means Rati. The noun of Rato is Rati. What does Rati mean? Rati?
Delights, devoted. Ramati.
Rati. Very interesting Pali word. There is a stanza under the, I think, about Arahants, somewhere in Dhammapada. further actually, further. When we keep studying about Dhammapada, the stanza says, Ramaniyani aranyani yatta na ramati janu. Normal people do not get to like the true beautiful places, right? Ramaniyani aranyani yatta na ramati janu. Vita raga ramissanti. Vita raga, those who have given up the raga on the delight, I would say, sort of rati, you can say, is a certain certain desires about something. But the Vitaragis, those who have already given up their raga, but they are trying to like it. Those places which the unenlightened people don't want to stay that long. Now, what do unenlightened folks do when they go to a forest? They would like to do a barbecue, BBQ kind of a thing, like their ancestors. Yeah, they did tribal ways, but now they do it modern, classy ways, and then they enjoy like a camping trip. They they fry different things, and then they have this this kind of a camping trip. But when a person who has become enlightened wants to stay in that kind of place, they truly enjoy nature. That's very interesting. Because in order for us to enjoy the nature, we have to slow down. We have to slow down our desire to enjoy, isn't it? Is it why some people take longer time to eat a small bite of something? It takes probably too long time. Actually, we know some of our senior folks, they take a lot of time to eat. They think that the more they chew, the easier the food can be digested. But nowadays, eat very fast food. So their food is not going to be digested, and they come up with some problems in their stomach, right? So that means those who are really enjoying the nature, especially these enlightened beings, they take time to enjoy. I remember another story, a true story that happened to one of my friends who actually sped on a highway in Canada. And then the cops stopped him, his car, and then asking him, I think your speed is, way over the, posted speed. Then they asked, why are you speeding like this? He said, when I see these nice, breathtaking views, I naturally, I just put more gas, and then I went over the speed limit. Then the officer said, you know what? If you slow down, you can see more beauty. And he gave the fine to my friend, right? Because if you go very fast, if you try to see the nature, you won't be able to see that nature. So in that way, it means we need to slow down time to time in the best possible. Sometimes we can't. But when it comes to the nature, it is better to slow down a little bit. So Arahants, they have this, I would say, their way of enjoying the nature is passion-free delight. Interesting word. Maybe I'm going to actually type in here. This is how I look at it. Passion-free delight. This one. So it's like passion. This is not the passion someone has for work, study, and to become ambitious. But this one is more likely that they are not creating a raga for the nature. But when the normal people go see the nature and other things, they are creating a sort of passion for that, kind of a raga onto that. Wherever they go, they want to create that passion for the most part. So now we find out an interesting addition to Appamada concept. when someone is really into appamada, that person is creating a certain delight, a delight onto the appamada. That means she enjoys being diligent. Earlier, what we knew was that we had to become diligent. But is it possible to take delight in appamada? Yes. Today we are learning for the first time. Yes, when you practice it, you take delight in that virtue, that nature. Right? It takes time. It takes some time to take that delight. Huh? And then, appamada, rato bhikkhu. Now here in this case, a monk, you could say, you can even take yourself, someone who delights, who takes delight in diligence. Not even that. This is pamade bhayadasiva. That means now the opposite side of appamada is pamad, negligence. And the person who practices appamada thoroughly understands the disadvantages, I would say fears about negligence. Pamade bhayadasiva. Now someone can think about, why did the Buddha say that we have to have a certain fear about negligence? Is fear always healthy? Or when the fear comes to you, you may have a certain emotional distress. Is there a healthy fear that the Buddha recommends to us? What is it? Now let's go back to the Pali word bhikkhu, monk. One definition of bhikkhu is sansari bhayam ikkhatiti bhikkhu. Someone who sees the disadvantages of being in the sansara is the monk. Who is bhikkhu? Sansari bhayam ikkhatiti bhikkhu. Someone who properly understands the disadvantages of wandering in the sansara. That is bhikkhu. And don't say bhikkhu is someone who is looking for the bhikkha. What is bhikkha? Food on the street. And in Sri Lanka, a long time ago, somebody created a poem. In this poem said, Buddha is the biggest beggar on the street. And his followers, his monks are the small beggars. This is really a kind of an insult to the monks. Are they supposed to always be on the street? I mean, we understand these things a little bit different. Yes, Pindapata, Pindachara, these activities have to be understood depending on the conditions. But it doesn't mean that they are beggars. Even most people translated this, the patta to be begging bowl. What's the begging bowl? It's a patta, it's an alms bowl. It's not a begging bowl. Why do monks have to beg? This is one of the concerns that Buddha's father was really angry. Why? There are lots of food here in the palace. Why are you doing this? The Buddha said, I am not begging here. I am helping people to create good karmas. Right? Some monks don't like it actually. Today's one. We have to eat everything that these people are bringing. This ice cream, pudding, custard, and then be getting sick after that. Why? We have to let them create good karmas. And they are pestering us. Bhante, please eat. Today I made the caramel pudding in the morning. And I prepared this food around 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. And they're kind of like pushing, and they are good devotees too, and definitely most of you. But why should someone go through pain for someone to create good karma? That's the question. So I think there should be a good communication between lay people and Sangha members about this thing, right? So translations like begging bowl and then go for begging, that's not a nice thing. I think if the city people find out the monks are doing that, they might arrest them for panhandling on the street. It can happen, People might think that this person is trying to create something. Anyways, Pamade Bhayadasiva, I was trying to say the translation of bhikkha. Bhikkha, one translation is food. But bhikkhu, the definition of bhikkhu is sansare bhayam ikkhati ti bhikkhu, someone who properly understands the disadvantages of roaming, wandering in the sansara. Because sansara is not always a favorable place to our life. That's why we are trying our level best to, to at least to become a sotapan at the very least. If we cannot become a sotapan, at least we die with the thought of becoming a sotapan. What a very beautiful way to do it. Right. All right, now someone who has understood the importance of appamada, at the same time, the same person has seen the dangers in being in the samsara by becoming negligent. Right? Being negligent. Now you can go back to your 30s and 40s. I hope that you are that age. Huh? You go back 10, 20 years back. Did you have the same urge of Dhamma at that time compared to now? You might say, no, we listen to Dhamma talks now, we are super inspired, and that's why we are here now. But go back to 20 years back from today. Did you have the same interest about the Dhamma? What happened to you at that time? Don't talk about it. That's a time of enjoying life. I don't want to mess up that time now. Now I understood the problem here. In Buddhism, Buddha never says that people should give up the sensual pleasures. People have to enjoy. But they should know the limits of their own sensual enjoy. But some are saying, no, no sensual enjoy. Just put a full stop onto that. That's not how the Buddha said it. Many suttas, Chula Dukkha Kama Sutta, and many suttas, Buddha says lay people have to enjoy their life within their own moral parameters. Right? We cannot say this and that. Even when it goes to earning money, there's no amount someone can make if that person really wants to, if that person really can afford it. But that person should give up low bar in terms of money. That's the important part. So now here, the same person is seeing the danger of being negligent, so that is not going to be negligent. He's always trying to become diligent in terms of his or her every activity. And then, Bhaya, I think we have to talk about Bhaya a little bit. Bhaya. Pali word Bhaya. What does Bhaya mean?
Fear.
Fear, fright.
Are we supposed to be feared except negligence? What is the Buddha's advice about fear actually? Now, fear is an emotion where we are creating a sort of imbalance in the body, right? When we are fear-stricken, a lot of things can happen. Even we can get diabetes. Even we can get a heart attack. Even we can get high blood pressure. And we can get all the other problems. So fear is not a good emotion. But the Buddha says, except for that kind of thing, there's a certain healthy fear which can be your daily motivation. Try to have a fear whether you will be onto the negligence or onto the diligence. That fear is not a killing fear. It's a motivation. It's a healthy motivation. Every time you see, am I behind my Dhamma practice? Maybe until last month, until the end of August, I was a good person. But in September, something happened. Transformation has been stopped for whatever the reason. What has happened? What led me to be this lazy? Why do I have a lot of tina mid? Why am I into pama that day? Something wrong has happened. Then you are looking at your overall spiritual life, and then you are trying to get back to your path, right? Without any big emotional distress. So there is a healthy fear in terms of bringing you back to the Dhammapada, Noble Eightfold Path, which means Appamada. So this Pali word pamada includes all the akusala activities: killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, taking intoxicants, and all these akusala activities are part of pamada. Everybody who does all these things, who are engaged in those malpractices, they have succumbed to, they have been a victim of this pamada. That's why they are into that. All right, now we are going to the very important part of this stanza. Now the Buddha is saying something very interesting. What are we supposed to overcome in our life? Sangyojanang anu thula. Sangyojana. There are sangyojanas. What are the sangyojanas? Sangyojana means, in English, we normally use an English word for this called fetters. 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 Okay. It's fetters. What is a fetter actually? Where is the, what do you call, enshackling here, enchaining? It's the chain. Now, it is said that we are chained into certain things. Fetter is a chain, sangyojana. Sang means nicely. Yojana means chain. We have been nicely chained into something. That means we are not free beings. Huh? We are in our own worlds. But according to the Sangyojana, we have been shackled, chained onto 10 things. There are 10 Sangyojanas. You just think about that you have 10 chains. With each chain, you are being fettered. You are being chained onto something. Then where should be the chain? Think about the chain. What's happening with the chain? There are two sides of the chain. Huh? Think about a dog. One chain goes to the belt of the chain. The dog. Dog has a belt. One chain goes to that. The other part of the chain, where is it going to? A very hard object. Dog cannot bring it anymore. He has to be somewhere around. In the same way, we have a chain here, and the other part of the chain is onto 10 very, 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 very enormous, terrible akusala things. We are not set free. Can Buddha set us free? Very interesting. Can the Buddha set us free? Buddha can only teach us how to set us free, but he cannot set us free. That's why some other people asking, in our religion, we go to the place and then we know he is there. When we go to the temple, Buddha is not there. He passed away. Who is going to take care of us? Don't worry. Buddha passed away. But the people who like the Buddha, for the most part, Deva, Naga, Mahidika, when you respect the Buddha, they're going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. But when you go to the temple, you go to the temple in the best possible dress to see the Buddha. Like, the Christians go to the church with the best dress. Because I'm going to see the God. I can't get dressed not in a nice way. I have to dress properly. So because God is going to see me, my dress, everything. Right? Just as how some people go to the funeral in the Western countries, they have to wear like all the jackets, like they are going to an interview, Because why are you getting dressed like this? Because I'm going to give the last respect to the dead person. Last respect. So I had to wear properly. The best possible way. Right? So in the same way, Buddha has passed away as a person, as an individual. But his legacy, his Dhamma teachings survive. Who can protect us when we respect the Buddha? These non-human beings. They are really, really liking those who are respecting the Buddha. So don't worry. You don't have that problem, others might have. So Buddha cannot set us free, but Buddha can tell us how to set us free from those chains, which one part is attached to our body, other part is to those 10 things. Now here, Anu Tula. Anu means small chains. Tula means very big chains. Okay. There are two types of chains. Of course, this is more terrible than a handcuff that might be given by a cop, right? Right? There are some criminals who try to set free from these handcuffs sometimes. But these are way heavier, terrible than those handcuffs, even by the law enforcement. So let's understand these 10. We have time for that. Anu means subtle ones. Tulang means gross ones. All right, so how I'm gonna do it? I think I'm going to leave under the chat. That might be better. So the first one is Sakkaya Ditti, which means you may call it what do you call it? Personality, or you may call it ego. All right. Number 2 is Silabbata Paramas. That means clinging to rites and rituals, and a new word. I'll be adding a new word. Cults. Number 3, Vichikipcha, doubts about 8 things. Number 4, Kamaraga, sensual desire. Number 5 is Patika. You can see ill will. Number 6 is going to be Ruparaga. Ruparaga means desire to be reborn in Rupa worlds, Rupa realms. Number 7, Aruparaga, desire to be reborn in Arupa realms. Number 8, Mana. Mana means conceit. Number 9, Udacha. Udacha means restlessness, restless of mind. Number 10 is Avijja, ignorance about the Four Noble Truths. All right, 10 fetters. Okay, so now we have to find out what are the subtle ones, what are the gross ones. Okay, you can see the first 5. You can see the first 5. The first 5, they are the gross ones. Very difficult to overcome when it comes to normal beings. What are they? Sakkaya Ditti, Vichikiccha, Silabbata Paramasa. Yeah, I think you can, because I type in here, take some time to write down. So can take a 1 minute for that. Now, out of these 10, you can see the gross part. That means Tula, Samyojana, Anutula. So Tula means the most difficult, or I would say most difficult, most challenging 5. They are called Tula. Now, what does Tula mean in Pali? Tula means fat. Tula means fat. Anu means, I would say, thin. Right? So, Tula, that means the first 5 are the most challenging ones. I think we have to discuss these 5 at the beginning here. Sakkaya Ditti. Now, as you understand, when we practice our Dhamma journey, the first thing that we have to overcome is Sakkaya Ditti. That's the most important thing to do. What do you think? Are we really overcoming our Sakkaya Ditti? How do we know that we are trying to lower, decrease our Sakkaya Ditti? What is the measurement style? How do we know it? If you are not creating a certain I, me, myself, like a big mentality about it. If you are not worried about you being not that much recognized and all that, you are not worried about it. You are not taken away by any of those I, me, myself mentality, then you are really working on the Sakkaya Ditti. Where is Sakkaya Ditti creating the reference to? How do we know Sakkaya Ditti? It is reference to 5 aggregates. People create 4 things for one aggregate. 4 things for second aggregate. That means, say for instance, we have 5 aggregates: Upakanda, Vedanakanda, Sanyakanda, Sankhara, Vijnanakanda. That means we have this body, we have feelings, we have memories, and we have the capacity to create karma, good karma, bad karma, and then we have consciousness. Now, when people are maintaining or maybe living with their 5 aggregates over time, because of their over thinking about who they are, what they have been doing. At the same time, because of their extreme familiarity with their 5 aggregates. It's a good one. Extreme familiarity with oneself. I have my feelings, I like my feelings, I don't want my feelings to go away. And I have my memories, they are good memories, others don't have those memories, and I want to really cherish those memories. Too much, huh? You always have cherished memories. And I do good karma, bad karma, and I hold on to my this karma, that karma, and my mind. I really value my mind, my consciousness. So over time, and body is a big part. It's my body, and I'm happy. I always want to be proud about my body. Yes, we really want to appreciate our body. We have a healthy body, definitely we have to. But what if someone is overly appreciating the body? Thinking about rejuvenation 24/7, 365, time matters, right? Always thinking, kind of taken away by this body image awareness too much, right? We should have that. We have to take care of us. We have to take care of us from diseases, illnesses. Nobody should be ugly. Everyone has to keep up with their beauty. It's okay, no problem. But what if someone is too much onto this body image awareness? Very much too much. At that point, you are creating those 4 elements of Sakkaya Ditti with regard to the Rupakkhanda. There are same 4 for the Vedanakkhanda, about feelings. Actually, this is something that a lot of people are struggling. That feeling I had that time, I don't think I will have it again. So much hardwired onto that particular feeling. Something happened. And what about sanya, that memory, that precious memory? It's a priceless memory. I don't think I will have that memory again. Right? And then karma in the same way. And then what do you call vijnana? That means our consciousness. So people are creating 20 types of sakkaya ditthi. 20 types of sakkaya ditthi with regard to their 5 attributes. I think I have a flyer in my blog. Let me find it out so you will see it also. See. Okay, I got it. I'm going to share you this. All right, 20 kinds of identity views, sakkaya ditthi. So you can see here, you can see how these four ways to create sakkaya ditthi: 4 to rupa, 4 to vedana, feeling, 4 to sanya, 4 to sankara, 4 to vida. I think now you'll be asking a lot of questions after this. I would clarify one aggregate. Rupa. Let's take rupa. 4 as self. That means there is someone who may go to a certain view, sakkaya ditthi view, thinking that my body is myself. That is the first sakkaya ditthi. And also this person time to time might come up with an idea, self as possessed of form. I have a self, that self is stuck into my body. Third, and now because of these connections to self and the rupa, this person may think that my body as how it is reflected in myself and vice versa. So in this way, you can see all the 5 aggregates can be taken as 4 by each kanda and then making 20 kinds. Let's see, 20 kinds. So there are 20 kinds of sakkaya ditthi. Let's make it a little simple, I think, a little deeper. But this is what we understand: 20 kinds of sakkaya ditthi. Sakkaya ditthi in the modern understanding is something called ego. Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis, the description. How to minimize our sakkaya ditthi? Now, say for instance, meditation. You go for a meditation program, meditation retreat. Now, what is normally happening to you at the end of meditation retreat? The normal norm. I meditated for 1 day. I meditated for 2 days. I meditated for 1 week. So I should be. I mean, there are people who might not be able to discipline themselves. I might be better than other folks who cannot meditate, who don't meditate. Actually, if you keep meditating properly, there is a certain area of your meditation you will come to. Yes, I'm going to share later. Yes, don't worry. Maybe in the WhatsApp group. So you come to a certain point in a meditation. There is no meditator, but there is a meditation happening. This is very interesting. After 1 day, 2 day, 3 day meditation, what is thinking? So far, I was thinking I'm a bad person. I have akusala. I always think bad stuff. My mind is always going to akusala. When I come to the temple, when I go to the wherever the place, I feel, okay, I'm calming myself with the meditation object, anapanasati, metta, karuna, mudda, upekka, whatever object. But the third level is, now I understand it's not I, me, myself. Because of my appamada practice, I created a meditation practice. But when I keep growing in my meditation, I understand there's no I, me, myself. Not I meditate, cross out I. There's a meditation. Now you have been overcoming sakkaya ditthi even with regard to the meditation. And then you go for a chanting, go for a Buddha puja, listening to a Dhamma talk. Not that I learned Dhamma. Initially, yes, you go and I learn, but after that you understand it's not I, me, myself, the universal Dhamma. This applies to everybody here. And I understand without keeping that I, me, myself mentality. Initially, I, me, myself, but later on, you make it to a universal experience. That's a good way to look at it. In terms of your lay life happiness, you have earned money, you have earned this and that, you have loved ones, right? But you think, one day I'm leaving all these people behind. Then the Buddha says something. Putta matti dhanam matti iti balu vihanyati attahi attano natti kuto putta kuto dhana. Some ignorant, unwise people think, I have children. Yes, definitely you have to think you have children. But on a different level, I have children. I have putta mat dhanam, I have money, I have wealth. Attahi attano natti. Buddha says, even you don't have you. You have to leave this body and then you gotta go with your changing consciousness. Kuto putta, kuto dhanam. So where are the sons, daughters? Where are your money, wealth? This is the ideal state of Sakkaya. Yes, you maintain them conventionally, but all the time you reflect, I know I have to go. They have to go. I have to go. And I just do it as my responsibility. This mentality. Every time someone is giving you a compliment, you try to be very humble about that compliment. I did this, I know everything, right? You don't come up with this mentality. You have less Sakkaya. So Sakkaya is as such. So we have to go to other 9. So I just tell you, this is the biggest challenge. Don't think about other 9. This is the biggest challenge to many Buddhist devotees, many people, because even the practice of the Dhamma practice comes as a result of Sakkaya. So you have to always think, whatever the things you do it low-key. Stay low-key in your Dhamma practice. Don't want to show off. Don't want to brag about it. If you stay low-key in your Dhamma practice, you know what you are doing. Because at a certain point, you are dealing with anatta concept, right? That can be a negative experience too, right? Some people might say Buddhists are not ambitious, purposeless. Yes, why? Because we also don't exist. So where are we going to work on in our Dhamma life? Anatta. There's no self. And the Buddha said there is a self at a certain context, within a certain context, and that self cannot be taken as self at a certain level. So we have to understand it both. Right? So Sakkaya Ditthi means trying to humbleize, become humble, but you are doing your Dhamma journey by helping out other people. Even the good things you are not going to use to show off, to brag about. They are just your things. You are the ones who are carrying. You are the ones who are going to improve yourself. So just keep them in that way. So you can lower, decrease Sakkaya. Second is, actually it's Vichikicha, doubts about a couple of things. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, previous life, next life, both lives, doubts about 12 parts of Paticca. There are 8 types of doubts. Actually, these doubts are there until we go to a proper teacher and get those questions answered. We have to always, not one teacher, who ask the question from many teachers. The teachers who you think they can really help you. Then you understand what is more sensible. But there are people, they never want to go ask. Right? Because they are very shy. They are embarrassed. So they die with doubts. This is the problem. One day they die with doubts. Why you have to die with doubts? Go ask from these teachers. They might say their own answer. You approach one teacher, 2 teachers, 3, 4 teachers, and you have an idea now. What is this? Is it sensible, making sense or not? But don't die with your doubts. Then you are carrying the second Samyojana. Third one, Sila Bata Paramas. Sila means extreme Sila. Bata means Vata, cults. What do you think? As Buddhists, Do Buddhists have Buddhist cults? Have you seen any Buddhist cults? You know, but you are not sharing with us. Huh? You know what they are, who they are, what they are doing, but it's a public secret. But just imagine somebody might venerate, remember the war criminals, some of the cults in Japan. But there are cults in any country, even in Sri Lanka, Thailand. I have no other countries, but we can see that because of certain people, some ideas, they are, we can see a lot of cults. So Buddha says we should never become a part of cults. Because Buddha says Dhamma practice is nothing but the noble eightfold path. Right? Don't try to veer off from the Dhamma path to Atta Yoga or Kamasukalika. I think one thing I have to mention about Sila part, extreme Sila, extreme other activities. Now we talk about the second part calling cults. What about the extreme Sila? The Buddha says, never practice Sila extremely. Never practice Sila extreme. Now this happens to, like I experience in many retreats. Now when I go to retreats, we do give precepts, 8 precepts. And I always tell people, yes, we are having liquid stuff after 12 p.m., 1 p.m. But there may be somebody here who may need some medications. That person can go and take a snack. We have to be compassionate about everybody. Plus, actually, those 3 precepts at the end, 8 precepts, Nacha, Gita, Vadita, Visuka, Dasana, Mala, Gandha, Vilepan, Dharana, Mandala. Nacha, we are not dancing, we are not singing, we are not playing instruments, and then we are not cracking unnecessary, non-virtuous jokes, and we are not, what do you call it? Gandha, what do you call it? Nacha, Gita, Vad, Visuka, Dasana, Mala, Gandha, Vilepan. You can't, you know, spray some perfumes. What if there is someone who has a natural body odor? Think about a good example. There is someone who has a bad smell in that person's body, but wants to join the retreat. Can he or she join the retreat? He or she has to spray the perfume. So what's the problem with that? That's why I'm telling these precepts, we have to understand carefully. Right? Everybody is different. I think the last 3 precepts are very good if everybody is blessed in the same way. Not everybody is blessed in the same way. Some people have health issues, some have other issues. So we have to understand. But this doesn't mean that you can spray whatever the perfume before the retreat and all that. I'm telling you some conditions, some of the situations some people go through. We have to be compassionate towards these people. Without compassion, our Dhamma practice cannot go. We become very, what do you call, people who only rationalize Dhamma. People who become only intellectuals. And then Dharana Mandana, according to the precept, nobody can wear earrings, necklaces, bracelets. What do you think? That means the monk has to ask all the devotees, hey, you cannot enter this hall with any earrings. Is it possible? Is it practical? Can we ask all this? No, don't touch your ears now. Can we ask? Can we order everybody, hey, you are coming to my retreat, you have to remove all your earrings, necklaces, whatever the things. I don't think it's going to work out. But then what is the purpose of this precept? Actually, the last 3 precepts in this 8 precept classification, they are there to discipline us a little bit more. But this was given at that time. We understand how we are going to do it. Now, there are people who are wearing earrings not to feel great about their ears. They may wear a necklace not to feel very much considered about their body. Maybe they just wear it. But there may be someone who is wearing necklaces just to show off. See these ones I brought from this shop, that shop, the branded ones, and a necklace, whatever. There may be those people too. So here we understand discipline, not just stuck onto certain areas, right? This doesn't mean that we disrespect this particular precept. What I'm asking you to think is that we have to look at it according to our time and the practicality. Otherwise, we cannot practice. Take the other one, Ucha Sayana Maha Sayana. That means you are not sitting on a high place, high seat, or a very luxurious seat. At that time, people used to practice it. So, but let's say there is someone who cannot sit on the floor. Maybe he or she has a problem with his, maybe somewhere, that part of the body. He or she says, Bhante, I can come, but I want to bring my own chair. That is a very luxurious, comfortable chair. So what's the problem? So we have to understand this. But what about killing, stealing, sexual misbehaving, all that thing, lying? These are really terrible stuff, you know. I think we have to focus on those sides. Who is going to be affected? I am going to be affected. The victims, there may be a lot of victims and a lot of acusadas. But at the same time, if there is someone who is thinking, today I am going to remove my earrings, I just want to be somebody, whether I can spend the day without my earrings, necklaces, but not mandatory. If you think you can go for it. There may be someone like that. Every day I'm doing this. One day, whether I want to challenge myself, can I spend my day without all these beautifications? There's no harm to it. So we are looking at it on the both sides. So Sila means when you practice Sila, understand that never go to the extreme side of the Sila. There are people who are becoming very extreme in their Sila. I tell you an example. There was one monk who was always thinking, Buddha's time, my Sila had to protect it, they had to be very careful. Lots of fears came in. And then one day, unintentionally, he cut a branch off in a tree. You know, the Ayurvedic monks, there is one rule at that time, Buddha said, you cannot cut trees. The Buddha said, tree has a life, one life faculty. Actually, we have to understand it from a different point of view. Now, I met some of the monks when I was in Canada. We don't cut grass, but we ask devotees to cut the grass. I said, what is the point of view? You are telling them to cut the grass. It's your intention. It doesn't matter who is going to cut the grass. Just be practical here. You are where you are now, right? Because this precept in understanding, cutting the grass, was laid down by the Buddha. Because at that time, some monks went to the forest. They started cutting very large trees for their meditation huts, kutis. That's not nice. That's why Buddha said, don't do it. Because all these trees have deva. You are, destroying their habitats. There was one time, one monk was cutting a tree. At that time, there was a female deva. She was very angry, exasperated. She was thinking, I want to kill this person. But she understood, no, it's too bad for me. I have to think about it. It's an opportunity for me to think about metta. And I have a child, newly born child, and she brought the child to the baby to the Buddha. And this Bhante, my tree is being cut by a monk. And I was so angry about losing my habitat. I cannot go to another place. But I stopped my anger. I thought I should not continue my anger. The Buddha said, Yo have uppatitang kodang ratang bantang madare tamahang saratin bhumi rasmin gamu. Actually brought a very interesting metaphor. The idea is that when someone comes up with a huge amount of anger, but suddenly she able to de-escalate and try to put that anger behind, it is as someone who is what do you call driving, who is actually bringing a cart with horses. There is a time that he or she wants to stop the cart. Only an experienced driver, horse charioteer knows how to stop it in time. Other people, they are just holding the reins of the cart. In the same way, I appreciate you. With your anger, you did not let anger take you over, and you took the anger over. I'm so happy about it. And in that case, that's how Buddha looked at these trees. And in that example, the previous example, that monk passed away by thinking, I cut one branch of a tree. I think I lost my sila. He passed away. He had no other concerns. Then he became a huge cobra inside the monastery. Why? Then the Buddha explains, because even when you are not happy about your sila, if you happen to die with that thought, you are having anger, hatred. Don't just forget about your family issues, other things, arguments. Even you have a problem with your own sila, then you are not happy with what happened, and you die with that thought. The Buddha says, if people die with anger, they are more likely to become snakes. That's pretty normal in Buddhism. King Ashoka became a big python in Himalayas. And this particular monk became a cobra, giant cobra, in the banquet of the temple. Why? Hatred, anger, always, unleashing anger onto oneself and to others. So then be careful. Don't try to be extreme on sila. Practice your sila peacefully, calmly. Don't think too much about it. But try to make sure whether you are not committing any terrible, unnecessary bad things. Right? And then, Silapada Paramas. Kamaraga Patiga. Kamaraga means sensual desire. Now, we are going to talk about the last two of the big ones, the gross fetters, samyoganas. Kamaraga means sensual desire. Patiga means ill. Actually, when you become a Sotapanna, you only need to overcome the first three. Sakkaya Ditti, Vicikiccha, Silapada Paramas. And if you are going to take an additional effort, then you'll be able to become a Sakadagami, where you are going to decrease, reduce kamaraga, sensual desire, and then ill will to a certain considerable extent. Then you can become a Sakadagami person. But the third one is Anagami. In order for you to become an Anagami person, someone who will not come back here to the human world again, sensual realms, you are supposed to overcome Kamaraga Patiga completely. And then let's say you overcome it here as well, then you have the 5 subtle fetters. That means there are small chains also. When you go to that level, the big chains have been, cut apart, but then there are small one, Ruparang. There may be someone who might like to be reborn in a Brahma world. Arupa Rang. There may be someone who might want to be reborn in a Arupa world, realm, 4 Arupa world, and 16 Brahma worlds, Rupa worlds. And Mana, Uddacha, Avijja, last 3. Mana means conceit. Now, what do you think? Even Anagami person has Mana, conceit. Sakadagami definitely has. Then Sotapannas also have Mana. What is Mana? Measuring. What is the measuring? Anagami person thinks, I am still an Anagami compared to an Arahant. Sotapanna still thinks, I am still a Sotapanna. I haven't made the move on to the Sakadagami. Measuring, right? Sizing up. So this Mana. So whenever you experience a bad thing with somebody because of that person's conceit, don't worry. Even Anagami person has some level of conceit. Just don't worry about it. But your aim is to be very humble as much as you can. Mana means conceit. Uddacha means restlessness of your mind, thoughts. What are the reasons that can lead you to have restlessness of your thoughts and mind? Can we discuss that? Very interesting. Uddacha. Because every time you are restless in your thoughts, you will be onto a potential execution of akusala. Uddacha. How can we stop? How can we stop lot of akusalas by bringing simple practices during the day? One thing is have a good sleep. Because if you don't sleep properly, then the next day can be a very challenging day for you to even to keep up with your daily chores. Forget about other people. Because you are not able to keep up with your daily chores. When you cannot keep up with your daily chores, when other people want to talk to you, can you be nice and pleasant with those people? It's not that easy because you know you are left behind. A good sleep is very important to practice kusala, noble eightfold path. Don't just think it's a simple thing. It's very important. What are the other things that help you to practice your Dhamma journey, your noble eightfold path journey? I mean, those tiny little easy things you can do during the day. Proper eating habits. Proper eating habits. If you eat, let's say you eat a diet that is not giving you health, then you will end up with being sick. When you're sick, can you practice Dhamma easily when you get sick? That's very challenging. Then there are some people, unwise people are okay, you know, anicca, dukkha, anatta, so I get sick. What's the problem? See, misinterpret anicca, dukkha, anatta. Actually, you are the one who created your own sickness. You are the disturber of your own peace at that point. Anicca, dukkha, anatta has to be understood at a higher level. Not that you didn't take care of yourself and you became sick. Now you are saying you are anicca. Because we are trying to take care of us by having a proper diet. Because Buddha said that in many suttas. He said, Bhojane mattanyata, eating in moderation. Now think about a day, you eat too much. Why? There are lots of food today. So I eat a lot. What will happen to you? You may be having some issues sometimes, depending on your body. Eating too much, maybe gastric issues, other issues. And sometimes you don't know how to cook the proper quantity. And you cook a lot. Then your family members are not going to consume all that. Then what you are thinking? No, I cannot throw them away. No? Somebody's money. And then that person is going to eat that whole thing at the end. Right? Then that means properly understanding the amount of food that you are cooking is also important. Otherwise, you will end up with being sick. So these are simple things we can do to reduce our akusalas. Right? And other things, what are the other things that you can do to stop creating akusalas? I'm talking about uddacha. A good sleep, a good diet, proper diet, understanding how much, and then planning the day, very important. Organizing, planning the day, right? That's important. If you don't organize, plan your day, you may end up with lots of akusalas. Say, for instance, you are trying to watch a YouTube video. Will the YouTube like you stop watching YouTube and go back to your work? On the side of the YouTube, say auto suggestions. So when you watch one video, they suggest another video. But now you have no plan. You went to watch one video, but you have no plan to come back to do other things. You just end up with other videos one by one. Maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. And you are saying, I cannot come back. I want to watch all these videos. Because you went to watch that video without a plan. I want to watch this video, but I have other things to do. Why? That means we need planning for the day. without planning, we will ended up with lots of akusala, amount of, I think it's going to be a akusala junkyard at the end. It's a junkyard. You will end up with akusala misinformation factory and badly speaking a junkyard, because you never know how to exit from that. So think about many ways to decrease your akusala. So then you can overcome uddacha, restlessness of your mind. Finally, avijja. Avijja means not realizing, not understanding, not realizing the Four Noble Truths. Not realizing the Four Noble Truths. I think we all know dukkha, dukkha samudaya, dukkha nirodha, dukkha nirodhagamini. It's a very interesting, very simple thing. But have we realized these four in our life, connected to our personal life? I don't think that much. Have we really seen the dukkha in our personal experiences? Have we really seen the cause of that dukkha? Have we really found out a way out for that? Have we really tapped onto higher levels of the Noble Eightfold Path? I don't think that much, to a certain considerable extent. We may have done, but not that enough level. That's why we have to become people of Appamada and to keep practicing. So going back to the stanza, again, I can say here, all right, Appamadarato Bhikkhu, there is, in this case, a monk, but there is someone who understands, who takes delight in Appamada, not even likes it, takes delight, and who fears for the repercussions of the negligence, the polar opposite of Appamada, and at the same time, trying to dahang aggiva gacchati, trying to burn. Now here you can see dahang. Dahang means burning. Aggi means fire. Gacchati. If someone can practice appamada, that appamada can be a fire to burn the 10 fetters, the subtle fetters and the gross fetters. Subtle gross fetters are the first five: sakkaya ditthi, vijigicca, silabata paramasa, then kamaraga, patiga. Subtle fetters are uparaga, manutta, chavicca. So you can think about your appamada practice can be a fire which you can burn all these fetters and you can set yourself free in your Dhamma journey. Okay, the story, I'll give it a very short. There was a monk who wanted to go to a faraway place and practice some meditation. On his way back, he met with a conflagration, a really bad fire in the jungle. And he immediately evacuated that place. He went to a place where he feels free, safe. And he looked at, oh, it's like, this fire is like my Appamada practice. See how this fire is burning all these tiny little plants and big trees. And the Buddha was in his room at that time. He looked at this monk. What is he doing? Very interesting. And then he sent a certain message to him. Yeah, keep continuing this way of observing your Appamada practice. And finally, he became an enlightened person. So this is the story. So make Appamada practice a practice where you can overcome 10 fetters and always try to take delight in the Appamada practice. All right, any questions about this stanza today? Any questions? Appamada, we can't delay anything. Yes. All right. Yes, Paul.
Yes, Bhante. It's not really directly relevant, but it happened to me today. A friend of mine, she used to she was in Theravadan, then she went on to practice the Mahayana Bodhisattva path, and now she's come back to early Buddhism, but now she's confused. So she says that she feels the great fear of samsaric rebirth, to be reborn. But when she started feeling that, she says, oh, I do not want to walk the Bodhisattva path, so I now want to walk the Arahat path. And she says since then she's been having more health problems and all that. So I'm sorry, Bhante, what is that view? What's the right view she should have for in this situation? She's confused, I think. Because in Malaysia, we do have a mixture of Mahayana, Theravadan, and so I'm not saying right or wrong in what path, but many of us are so, in our local words we call it roja. It's a mixture of special. Yeah, pickle. Yes, yes. So
I know some words.
yeah, so I mean, we really come and people think that the Bodhisattva vow is a very big thing, and they don't want to let go of that. At the same time, they don't want to continue that suffering, the samsaric existence, and or sometimes they use the excuse that I'm a Bodhisattva. So actually, in subconsciously, they want to be reborn again and again. They're just using that as an excuse, why they aren't following the Buddha's teaching as per what he's taught. And sometimes I ask you, if you walk the Bodhisattva's path, then what are you practicing? They can't answer. So it's a really bunch of pickle. They're in a big pickle, but they,
Yeah. First thing first, we have to, and before giving an answer to this question, we have to know what she really wants to practice. I think she has a certain upbringing from Mahayana temples and all that. So that is good, because we cannot expect everybody to come to a certain way of practice. We come from different practices. Okay, I think it's not her problem. The problem is the existence of many traditions and not giving a clear path to the people. Now, in this case, she is going to this one and coming back. Probably she should meet a good teacher. That's my recommendation. A teacher can really tell. Maybe a Mahayana teacher, maybe a Theravada one, maybe I normally call early Buddhism. Better to tell her the true purpose of the Dhamma journey. Now we understand in early Buddhism, Theravadins also say the same thing. There are 3 types of enlightenment paths. One is to become a Samma Sambuddha. This we clearly understand as Bodhisattva path. Second is Pancheka Buddha, to become a Pancheka Buddha. Third is becoming an Arahant. Okay. So unfortunately, the Theravada tradition only promotes this last one, bare minimum. I normally ask this question, why don't you promote? Actually, Buddha clearly said in those teachings, you can become a Pancheka Buddha. If Devadatta monk going to become a Pancheka Buddha, why not you? Monk Devadatta, who did all the bad things to Buddha, was going to become a Pancheka Buddha. King Ajasatta is going to be a Pancheka Buddha. So who undervalued the other 2 enlightenment types higher ones, saying that no, you can't do that. Actually, you know what has happened? When the early Buddhism has been evolved into Theravada at a certain point after the 3rd council, what happened was that Buddha was treated as a supernatural being, which we don't see it in the early texts. Now, say for instance, now when you go to a vihara, they do a Buddha puja separately, Sangha puja separately, right? Sangika dana separate, Buddha puja separate. But do we see this in the early texts in the same way? Example, when under Dakkhina Vibhanga Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha's stepmother, Mahapajapati, she was an Arahant. She came to see the Buddha. She said to the Buddha, Bhante, I handmade the rope for you. I would like to offer it to you. And the Buddha said, no, don't offer it to me. Then she asked, why? You need to offer it to the Sangha. When you offer it to the Sangha members, I am also a part of the Sangha. Then why do we have to strip out the Buddha from this Sangha community? So this happened. Buddha was pushed out of the Sangha community, making him a supernatural being at a certain place, and saying the Buddha, even the path to become Buddha is very difficult, very challenging. So you better become an Arahant. This is what happened with the Theravada's evolution of the teachings. So I think it is not a problem. It is the problem of speakers not telling the true teachings in the early sutta. So we have to tell people, if you come from a Mahayana background, if you really like Mahayana, go for becoming a Bodhisattva. I always say becoming a Bodhisattva is such a blessing thing, because when you become a Bodhisattva, you are helping out many people. But there's a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is, there are people who are thinking, when you are a Bodhisattva, you are not going to be an Arahant. You have to be reborn and reborn. But keep in mind, when you make the Bodhisattva vows, whatever the lives you are going to have in after this, you are having that spiritual lives because you have the Bodhisattva vows. So, if she really want to follow to become a Bodhisattva, I mean, do the necessary perfections for the Bodhisattva realm, please go ahead. No problem. Actually, we have to appreciate everyone to become Bodhisattvas. This is what I say. Because in the effort of becoming a Bodhisattva, if you don't make it, you will end up becoming an Arahant. Now there are people who are only thinking about an Arahant. So I don't know whether you will end up even becoming a Sotapan at the end. Because let's plan for the higher goal, then we will end up with even the first one. Right? So the answer to her question is that if she thinks that she really wants to know what is to be followed, then definitely she should meet a teacher. That teacher has to clarify Bodhisattva path is the highest to become enlightened. But if you think you don't like it, you are looking for a shortcut, you are looking for a short journey, then you can think about becoming an Arahant. Being a Sotapan. So I think we have to appreciate all these three paths. Theravadis don't do that. They say, no, you can't be Buddha. You can't become a Samma Sambuddha. You can't become a Pacceka Buddha. They have information in their suttas. Monk Devadatta is going to become a Pacceka Buddha. Then why not these good people who never killed their mother, father, who never done anything wrong? Why can't they become Pacceka Buddhas? They can, but they have not understood in them. So that's the answer to that question.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. All right. Any other questions? I think time has been going. We'll take one more minute and then we'll wrap this up. Yes, Mary.
Sorry, Bhante, this is a quick question based on what you answered to Pauline. So, is it necessary, therefore, to make some kind of aspiration as to what is your end goal, end game? Arahat, like you said, Pacceka Buddha, or be or be a Buddha? Or is it just that we just need to practice and then take refuge, practice, understand the Noble Eightfold Path, and somehow it gets you somewhere?
Okay, I think we should have a purpose in our spiritual journey. Then we can intensify our practice. We can keep with the practice too. So let's say, how are we going to do it? We have to understand what are the requirements for becoming a Samma Sambuddha. What are the requirements of becoming a Pacceka Buddha? What are the requirements of becoming an Arahant? Actually, what are the requirements? Paramita. If you want to become a Samma Sambuddha, you are supposed to practice 30 paramitas. If you want to become a Pacheka Buddha, you need to practice 20 paramitas. If you want to become an Arahant, you have to practice 10 paramitas. Dana, Sila, Nekkhamma, Panya, Viriya, Kanti, Satcha, Aditthana, Metta, Upekkha. These 10. So these 10 practiced by Pacheka Buddha aspirant 2 ways, Samma Sambuddha aspirant, Bodhisattva 3 ways. So I think, let's say you are trying to become a Bodhisattva. So in that practice, you are not thinking, I'm going to be reborn again and again. You want to do the necessary thing for becoming a Samma Sambuddha. Perhaps in that journey, you may become an Arahant. My suggestion is that don't look for the bare minimum attainment. It's like that you are sitting for an exam, you are looking for a C- for the paper. Those who only study for the C- mostly end up with a way below mark. But those who study well for the exam, they might end up with the A+. This is a very, it's not rocket science, it's a small argument. So if you look for the bare minimum attainment, you will never hit, you will always end up with a lesser place. So it's better to practice paramitas. Mahayana is called their own paramitas. Mahayana has their own paramitas. But early Buddhism gives us clear, what you call requirements to practice. So just practice the best, highest, then you will sometimes end up with becoming an Arahant. That would be the best reply to that, answer to that.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay, I think we have almost spent 15 minutes after our class. I think you learned about the 10 fetters today. These 10 fetters are categorized in 2 ways, gross fetters and then the subtle ones. Gross ones are the first ones and the subtle ones are the last one. That means when you work on your journey in overcoming the fetters, sangyojanas, the first 5 are the most terrible, challenging. After that, the chains also become subtle and workable. So you can work with them and then make that happen. In terms of your purpose, I want you to keep it as open. Don't keep it very close for becoming an Arahant. Keep the options free. Then you will think about how to practice the Bodhisattva vows, Bodhisattva perfections, and then in that practice, in that what you call true practice, you may end up becoming an Arahant. But now what has happened? If you ask from any devotee, I want to become an Arahant. That's what they know. They never get to the second higher one. They never ever get to the highest one. You think, no, it's not for us. Who said to us? You think about who said to us. Actually, if you really read the suttas, it's not like that. The Buddha said, try for the highest enlightenment, and then this will happen. All right. So may all the good karmas today we be making by understanding this Dhammapada stanza be transferred to the departed ones. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jnati nang hotu sukhita huntu jnateo. Idam me jnati nang hotu sukhita huntu jnateo. Idam me jnati nang hotu sukhita huntu jnateo. May Deva Naga Mahika receive all these good karmas. May they bless and protect all of us for good health, quality of life, and prosperity. May Deva Naga Mahika bless our Dhamma journey. May they finally attain supreme bliss of sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabda sampatti siddhya. Ittavata ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabda sampatti siddhya. Ittavata ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabda sampatti siddhya. Akasatha Chibumatta Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumuditva Chirang rakhantu lokasasanam akasattha chibummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanam akasattha chibummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang paranti chirang rakhantu tvam sadati. May we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mitras till we attain Nibbana. Thinking that, we go to the our wish. Imina punya kamina mami bala samagamo satan samagamo yavani bala patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making today by learning another aspect of Apamada be supportive and helpful all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu. Sadhu. Abhivadana Silis Nichun Bandha Prachaino Chataru Dhamma Bandhanti Ayuvanu Sukhan Balan Ayuraru Kisampati Sagga Sampati Mevache Atu Nibbana Sampati Iminati Samichat Sadhu. With that blessings, our class is going to an end. Wishing you a pleasant night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
Good night. Good night,
Sadhu,
everyone.
Bhante.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. Huh? See you.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And good night. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Bhante, will you be in KL next week?
Sorry?
Will you be in KL next week?
I don't think so. I have a yes.
We have
I'll be
your
busy from yes, from Tuesday to Friday will be busy. Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
And another time.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Night. Take care. Bye.
Take care too.